Well, thank you very much indeed coming to talk to us. What I wanted to ask you first of all is the taxi industry is well known around the world, and it's seen as one of the enduring symbols of London.
Yeah.
What are your own views of the role of the London's taxi service?
I think the London's taxi service is one of the great transport services of London, and let's be absolutely clear. There are how many buses are there on the roads? 8,500. You've got something like 30,000, 34,000 taxis on the streets of this city. They are an integral part of the identity of London, and they provide a service that no other form of transport does. If you can't get home late at night because the tube has stopped running, or if you can't find a bus, or if you don't know where you are and where to go, there's a taxi driver that can help you, and that is an absolutely invaluable resource for a city. So my job as mayor is to protect the taxi trade in any way I can.
Do you use taxis much, and if so, have you got a favourite taxi story?
I use taxis a lot. I don't tend to do it at public expense, which means that I have to be very careful with my expenditure with taxpayers' money, because obviously that's a key feature of our electoral campaign, is that we are not wasting your money, folks. And I don't know what my favourite taxi story is. I suppose it might be that my predecessor, the Newt fancier, used to take taxis at huge public expense, and I don't think any taxi driver would. I suppose the individual who benefited from was it something like £619 trip to Blackpool? I suppose the individual taxi driver did well out of it, but I think the taxpayer in the end doesn't do well by public abuse of taxpayers'
Taxi
money.
drivers spend their working lives around the streets of London. What policies will you propose in the future that you think will make life better for them and, of course, for their passengers?
Well, the key thing that concerns me is congestion and smoothing traffic flow. And everybody says, oh, old Johnson, he's put in loads of these bloody bicycles, blooming bicycles everywhere, cut them. He put in too many bicycles, and they're holding up the traffic. One of the most important things that we've done recently is to get the government, after 3 years of solid work, to agree to lane rental for roadworks. And that means that there are 106 bodies that can dig up the roads without any kind of, virtually no permission whatever. And we have now got a bill before Parliament which will mean that they have to get permission, and they will have to pay for the time they occupy the carriageway. And that will mean that all the roadworks companies, there are 106 of them, people who can dig up the roads, they will have to coordinate their activities. They'll have to ring each other up and say, well, listen, we've got to take up the surface now, do you want to come in and do it? They'll have to reduce the time they do it, and that will reduce congestion. Don't forget, 36% of delays are caused by congestion. But I'll tell you another thing that I want to do going forward in the next term, if I'm lucky enough to get back. I think if you look at the other causes of congestion, 41% of delays are caused by accidents. And very often, I have to be totally honest with you and say that I don't think that the accident is cleared away fast enough. And I think we've got an issue with the insurance companies, with the procedures, with some of the bureaucracy that prevents the police from simply saying, okay, there's nothing to see, there's no more need to close the carriageway, there's no more need to close the road, we're going to open it up. And so I'm talking to the Met about what we can do to speed that up, because that is a huge and unacknowledged cause of delays on our roads. Third thing I would say is that it's high time we had investment in roads. Roads are the kind of unacknowledged cousin of the transport system in this city. We always talk about the tube. We go on and on about the buses and what we're going to do to make life safer. We've done it to make life safer on the tube and the buses. But look at our roads. Roads are the lifeblood of the London economy. 60% of journeys are still made by car or on the road, particularly in London. You've got to do things to improve traffic flow and to make life easier for people. And I'm convinced that you can do those things if you get the right investment without prejudicing pedestrians or cyclists. And we are going to be bringing forward a package of improvements for the roads that I think will be a great benefit to taxi drivers and to traffic in London.
The Olympic route network, taxi drivers' favourite subject. Why can't they use it? Or is there any opportunity you think they might be able to use the Olympic?
They will be able to. They will be able to. And don't forget that this is a network that was going to be 240 kilometres long. That was what Livingston agreed to in the bid book. We've got it down to 70 kilometres long. It's only going to be in operation for 16 days with in peak operation, with a couple of days either side. And I really say to taxi drivers, whenever I'm talking to them, you know, don't get this wrong. We're expecting 5.5 million visitors to London in the Games. Don't, you know, pack up. Don't put a tarpaulin over the thing and go off to Marbella. Don't flee. This is going to be an opportunity for everybody to do well, and provided you know where the route network is going to be, provided you understand how it's going to operate, there's an opportunity to make money. And it's very, very important that taxi drivers, like all London businesses, plan, prepare and profit from the Games.
Taxi drivers, you know, often complain that they think there isn't enough enforcement against illegal, you know, touts plying for hire. And ranking up where touts shouldn't. Can you promise any further action on this?
Yeah.
And what would you do also about their other favourite subject, which is
rickshaws?
Pedicabs.
Pedicabs, okay. On pedicabs, I would love to be able to ban them. I can't. I don't have the statutory power. We've looked into it endlessly. We've been round about 1 billion times. We do not have the power. I can't say that what is effectively it's a non-motorised vehicle on the Queen's Highway. I can't just ban it. I think they are a danger. I was speaking as someone who often, you know, I come into conflict with them when I'm cycling. I see the problems when I'm driving. I don't think they're safe. What we're doing is we are regulating. We're cracking down, and the police have strict instructions and to make sure that they go very hard on rickshaw drivers, minicab, pedicabs who are causing difficulties. And I think we've had a big surge in that recently. But on minicabs and unlicensed minicabs, we've already done a lot, and we're going to do more. I think we increased the team, the people who are cracking down on them by 34. From memory, I think in the last year, that's 2010, 2011, of which we have figures, we've arrested 1,300 minicab drivers. That's a massive increase. We're going to keep doing that. And you know, don't be in any doubt that these people, unlicensed minicabs, are a menace to London. They are undermining the taxi trade. They are very often a threat to women. It is vital that people are aware of the risks and that unlicensed minicabs are driven off our streets, and that's what we're doing.
London's taxi industry, you know, is based upon drivers with high standards, with knowledge, purpose-built vehicles. Can the industry have confidence that you'll continue to support the industry as you have done in your first term, particularly if you're re-elected as mayor?
Of course it can, and I really think that as mayor we've done everything we could to help. I mean, I'm the mayor who put representative of the licensed taxi trade on the board of TfL, and as long as I'm mayor there will be a representative of the taxi trade on the board of TfL there to tell me what the concerns of the trade are, and I have regular meetings with not just with Bob Oddie but with as well, and we talk about the issues. I'm a believer in London taxis. They are an absolutely invaluable part of our transport network. We want to support them.
You're probably aware about the Law Commission currently reviewing a framework for taxi and private hire licensing standards right across the country. Do you agree with us that that this is an issue that should remain in the remit of Transport for London, the GLA and the Mayor, and that the standards of the taxi industry in London shouldn't be watered down to meet the rest of the country.
Absolutely right, and that's why I weighed in on. There's a business with the CRB checks. They were trying to water all that down. I won't have that. People in London deserve to feel that they've got an absolutely world-class service, and it is a world-class service. We're not going to have any watering down of that. People respect the London taxi trade. They know what kind of service they're going to get when they get on board a London taxi, and it's vital that we don't have any attempt to water that down.
Boris, you've had 4 years of being the mayor. You've obviously enjoyed it because you're putting your name in the hat again. Do you have a message for the 2,500 drivers of our company, Radio Taxis, but also for the wider community of the taxi industry, and also for all of our customers, in other words, Londoners in general?
Yeah, I do. I just want to thank you and everybody for what you're doing to make London a great city, for the service that you provide, which I think is world class. And I want to urge you to, and I hope very much that you'll be able to support me as the guy who's going to stick up for the taxi trade in our city. And final thought: don't write off the Olympics, folks. It could well be a great opportunity to make money.
Boris, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me on.